Hello, welcome to Coffee with Jude. Man, it's going to be 100 degrees today in Tucson, which is awful warm for March. What is it? 18th? It's going to cool off though. This is unusual for this time of year, but I think it's hot everywhere or snowing or something drastic. On this episode, we're going to talk about morning pages, my favorite thing. Every morning, if I can, I get up and I write in my journal. And it's an amazing way for me to get my head straight on things that are bothering me, like, relationship issues or business issues. And the the morning pages are just such good listeners, and I get all my problems kind of sorted out. And then it's also often an inspiration to me. I get ideas about what I want to do today and direction I want to go. Back in 2000, I started writing in morning pages when I read Julia Cameron's book. I never want to stop doing it. It's so fun to look back 3 years ago or 5 or 10 even and see what I was doing on that day 10 years ago. And sometimes you forget about how fortunate you're having now compared to what you were doing 5 years ago, or it can be vice versa. And it helps you realize that it's all temporary. Things change, it's always changing. And I think to create a writing practice where you write in your journal every day is such good practice for writing, because you can just write what's in your heart. You don't have to worry about it sounding good or being creative or anybody reading it, because it's just for you. And so I hope you start doing morning pages if you're not already doing that, which just means writing in a journal every day for 20 minutes or 1 page or 2 pages, however long you want. So let's watch the video. Welcome to the class, Clear Your Mind with Morning Pages. I am a super big fan of writing in a journal every day. I think just write and not think about where you're going or try to be artful or clever or anything else, but just to write. And if you do that every day, I think it can be super helpful to your writing practice. So I picked up Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, and I read about morning pages, and it inspired me to start doing it. And so it's been 20 years now since I've been writing morning pages every single day, almost every single day. Julia Cameron says, just write your thoughts as they pass like clouds through your consciousness. It's a clearing exercise that lets you be more conscious throughout your day. She says it's like taking a little dustbuster and poking into the dark corners of your consciousness. It takes me about 20 minutes or 25 minutes to write in my morning pages. What I do is I get up first thing, I make a cup of coffee, and I sit down and I write. And usually it's a page and a half typewritten. And then when I'm done with that, I write 10 things that I'm grateful for. And then I save this little piece in a folder named for the year that I'm working on and the date. And so it's super easy to go back 1 or 2 or 3 years and see what I was doing on that day 3 years ago. Just a little while ago, I went back and read what I was doing 5 years ago on that day, and it just amazed me, because reading that journal, I could feel the longing that I had for the cabin in the woods. I've been going up to Bond Lake ever since I was a little girl. My father bought property there. All my brothers and sisters had land and cabins on the lake. And so it was a place where we could gather as a family and feel a super strong sense of belonging. But now that I had moved back to Minneapolis and I was going up there more often, I realized how much I wanted to have my own place. My father had given me land, and after he died, I had sold it because I needed the money so badly, and I didn't think I'd ever want to go back to Bond Lake because we were living in Utah, but now I really did. I really wanted it. And I was feeling very hopeless as I read this journal that it was never going to happen because property was so expensive now, and it was so hard to get something. There wasn't much available either. And I carried that longing along with me. Then out of the clear blue sky, we got an email from my nephew, and he said, there's some property on Bond Lake, and I was thinking about purchasing it and gifting it to you and Joe, and I was wondering if you would, question is if you would use it. Whoa, use it. I was so elated. And so we've got our cabin now in Bond Lake, but it's such a super huge gift. It's the biggest gift anyone could ever give me. And we were able to fix up the property and have a beautiful little spot in the woods now next to my family. So, but the point was just to go back to that time when I didn't have it and thinking it would never happen, and to see how far we had come with just this whim of my nephew to buy this property for us and give it to us. It just made the morning pages really fun to think about that past and how far we'd come. And that if you envision goals, if you write your goals, maybe you can make them happen. I believe that. Although I wasn't the one that made it happen, it kind of just happened to me, but somehow that desire and longing must have been transmitted to my nephew so that he knew how much it meant to us. There are 5 benefits that you can get from writing morning pages as a daily practice. First of all, you could use it as a dumping ground to clear the mind. You write down every little thing that bothers you or you're working on or that comes to your mind. Sometimes you might find unexpected answers or clarity through the writing. You can use it to warm up the mind and fingers for your writing when you get to writing your book, your memoir, and your stories. You can use it to practice writing without censorship. There's no pressure. There's nothing to worry about. If you think no one's ever going to read this, you can write anything. And it's amazing how freeing that is and helpful it is. You can use your journal to get closer to the nugget of truth that's deep within yourself. Joan Didion says, I write to find out what I'm thinking, what I'm looking at, and what I see and what it means, what I want and what I fear. And lastly, you can use it to bring gratitude and an acceptance of what is and joy. So I hope you'll give it a go and just sit down every morning for as much time as you have and write in your morning pages, save it, and it doesn't even have to be on the computer. If you want to write it in a journal or on paper, that's great too. But it's the process of actually writing every day and doing it without trying to go somewhere or trying to be something or manipulate the writing. So it's super, super good practice.